I think my proudest moment as a teacher happened about 15 years ago when I had an incoming freshman trumpet player join my band, and he was a special ed student, and he was probably the worst trumpet player that I've ever heard. He was a great kid. He just, wasn't very good, but he thought he was. So he would play really loudly, and he could only play one note, which was second line G. And it was tough on us to have him there in the middle of the field playing really loudly and wrong all the time. But we stuck by him because he wanted to be in the band, and he was trying hard. And that's essential for being successful in anything. So we kept him in band. He stayed for 4 years and progressed slowly over those 4 years. But his senior year, the last thing he did for me was he came in and he played his 12 major scales. And that was an amazing feat. I was almost in tears as he was playing for me because I knew how far he'd come and how much he'd worked for that. And it wasn't the best performance ever, nor was it all perfect, but he did it. And that was a major accomplishment for him, and I'm super happy that he was in my band, that I was able to experience that with him. I think the most significant challenge that I face as an educator is trying to keep my students involved in music after high school. So many of them think that their musical career is over as soon as they graduate. And it's not. It's just beginning. They can simply play for fun. They don't all have to go to college as music majors. They can just play for the sheer joy of making music. And so in trying to find an outlet for them, I spoke to the dean and the president of West Hills College in Lemoore, which is about 15 minutes drive from our school, and asked them if they wanted a band at the campus. And they were very excited about that. And they allowed me to start a community band that meets in my band room one night a week. And it affords an opportunity now for my students to stay involved in music. Many of them have come back and began playing again. And it's a joy to have them in there, along with a lot of the really good players in our community that have also joined the group. So now the Golden Eagle Winds is a really fine concert band, and it's also an outlet for my students to be able to play music after high school. Some unique and creative methodologies that I use with my students is a scale and exercise matrix that uses 12 major and minor scales, exercises in thirds, arpeggios, and also etudes that the students have to pass off each year. And it's broken down into a 4-year span so that over those 4 years, they're able to progress through the proficiencies and become better players. And it's made a huge impact on the way that my group sounds and how hard my students work on their practicing so that they could pass those proficiencies. And another thing that we use is the breezing through music theory and composition. I found out about this when I attended the Midwest Clinic this past December. And it's an online-based program that my school purchased for my students to use, and they can get on there and go through from not knowing anything at all, learning how to name notes, all the way through to ending after 4 years at being at the AP music theory level. And it's very exciting. There's also a composition portion of that program that they can use where we address the standards, the state standards that say everybody should learn how to compose music. So we're trying to get our students well versed in music theory and composition before they graduate the program. Other ways that I have made an impact on my students and continue to make an impact on them is to teach them to be better people, not just better musicians. In our program, we spend a lot of time talking about how what they do affects the entire group, how they play, their commitment to the group. It's just like if they were in math class and they got an F, that wouldn't affect any other people in the class. It would only affect them. But I relate that story to them and say, if you're getting an F on the way you play this piece of music, your F is affecting everybody else's A. So you can't accept that and play wrong notes and wrong rhythms and wrong articulations and think that you're not affecting anybody. You're affecting everybody, and it's your responsibility to make sure that you're playing as well as you can. The other component of that is that my leadership team and the students who are better players mentor the students that need help, and they work with them at lunch and after school and teach them responsibility and playing up to the values of the group. And in so doing, these students learn that there's more out there than just themselves. They need to be responsible for more than just themselves. And in turn, they become the leaders in the community, the managers of stores, and the people that end up hiring other people to be underneath them. They become the leaders in the community because of what they learn by being leaders in our band program.